according to those principles. And see, the principles of Ma'at also transmit into the season that we're getting ready to go into, the Kwanzaa season, which is not just about celebration. Kwanzaa is a part of Kawaida, and Kawaida is a social system based on Ma'at. So listen, my people, look. Our geniuses throughout history have created the blueprints that we needed at those times in order to do what we had to do. So when the brother Ron Karanga created Kawaida, of which Kwanzaa is a part, that was to get us to begin to conform our lives to the idea of needing unity, making sure that self-determination was a part of our reality, right? That cooperative economics and collective working responsibility and creativity and purpose and faith was all interwoven into how we think and how we behave in the world with each other. How we think and how we behave in the world with each other. Because how you think is how you act.
Yes, sir.
And once you get your mind right, you hear the young brothers always talking about, we're going to get our mind right. Man, I got to get my mind right. Right? Yeah, when we get our mind right, when we begin to love ourselves the way that we're supposed to love ourselves by learning our real history, the truth of our history. And be aware of this, my brothers and sisters. Yeah, it's about the truth of our history because we have, look, they have tried to co-opt our history. There's a brother by the name of Jacob Carruthers. And in his book is, what is the book? Intellectual Warfare. In Intellectual Warfare, Shango, you know it's about what? It's about, them creating a body of African scholarship that's not real scholarship. Listen to me again. You got to be careful what you read. And everything that passes as black history is not really black history. So you have to go to brothers like Nathan Hare and brothers like Charlie Fisher. Elders like Brother Arthur, the Honorable Arthur E., who know who the scholars of our real history really are so that you can get it real. And when you get it real, brothers, I'm going to tell you, it ain't no high like that in the world. It ain't no power like that you can replicate or substitute. That will empower you to do what you have to do. And I'm telling you, I stand here today because of that. There's no way I would have been able to endure 37 years in prison if I did not have the power of our ancestors through our history, the truth of our history. So that's what I encourage you to do, and that's what I encourage us to do. Look, the brother said, even if you know that, look, take a chance on each other. We don't take a chance on everybody else, on everything else. Let's take a chance on each other. Believe in each other. Give up a little bit of love and see how it comes back to you. If it don't come back to you, keep it moving. But try it. Peace.
Peace, my brother. One question. We have time for one question? Anybody got a question?
If you could, for the young children, if you could explain the correlation between knowing your true racial history and self-esteem, if you can make that connection for them, that'd be
Baba Akil touched on it when he was talking. In ancient Kemet, the place that they call ancient Egypt, the real name of that place in the world was Kemet. And the spelling of that was KMT. KMT. And the essence of that was black earth. But not just black earth. Black earth based on the melanin, the identification of the melanin in you with the earth that the Creator brought you forth on, because we came forth by day, right? So the Creator brought us forth by day, and this is our ancient scriptures, from which the Bible and the Quran and all other scriptures come, the Hosea. So when the Creator created us on this black earth, us naming it Kemet represented that we accepted ourselves as a reflection of the Creator in the beauty and power of the universe. So when you see yourself as beautiful, because that's how the Creator created you in that space on the planet, because Africa is the true name of what we call Africa, but Africa means birthplace, right? And birthplace was represented because that was the first body of land to rise out of the water that really covered the majority of the earth at the time. And this goes back hundreds of thousands, millions of years. And because you were created in the image of the Creator, that blackness of the earth was a reflection of you. So if you can identify with that, when you know the truth of that, that gives you the power to know your value in the world, greater than anybody else. So don't no little white girl with blue eyes and blonde hair compare to you in terms of beauty and strength and power and value, because you are the real representation of that in creation, in the universe, because you are truly the image of God, my brothers and sisters. If you understand that, yeah, that's what self-esteem is. Knowing your value in the power of the universe, not just in this planet or in this solar system, but in the universes. Because the God that we come from is a God of all universes in creation. And the power of that is represented in each of you. Peace.
All right. Another big round of applause for Baba Inc. So there are a lot of other elders in this room today. You know, first of all, I mean, the fact that everybody just sat around, look at this, look at, we got a full house at the end of the day. Let's give a big round of applause to everybody that has sat through this whole process. Brother Bill, because like I said, I mean, we still got people in this room that have a word they can share. We got Brother Mark, we got Brother Solomon, we got, you know, I mean, I can go Mother Peggy, and we got Sister Freeman. I mean, we got elders in this room that we can go on and on and on in terms of sharing the word. Brother Bill asked me to make sure we wrap it this time, so if he's going to extend it, I'm going to give him that option. So we're going to bring Brother Bill up, you know what I'm saying, Brother Bill. And then we'll make the decision when we go do this. It's going to be up to Brother Bill how we going to do it.
Yeah, we do have a few people here that I would like to hear from personally. So if Sam wants to go ahead and identify them, ask them to say a few words, we can do that before we wrap it up. Thank you.
All right, well, you up, Brother Mark? Come on over here. There you go. I see you over here, Brother Mark.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
You know, what I gathered today from everybody who spoke as I sat there listening is, in our community, the word love is real.
That's right.
It's real.
It's real.
We might not see it every day, but it's real. And it's something that, you know, that I spread everywhere I go. I keep Brother Simba's words in my mouth every day. Peace and love. Because without that, we have nothing.
That's right.
We don't have a community if there's no love there. If there's no love there, you don't want to be there. So we put love in the areas that we walk and we talk in, and we put the love there, things will change. Because right now we have a switch in this world. I call it a switch, where it's being media ran, Facebook. I mean, come on now. Young folks is over here, and you got other folks over here. But love will pull all that back together.
Right.
And even if you just do something on your block. I did something very simple on my block a year ago. Very simple. I got some grass seeds. And I just put the grass seeds where there was no grass. That's all I did. Put the grass seeds where there was no grass on my block. And when that grass started growing, the block changed. Now I got the young folks doing grass, mowing with the lawnmowers. I mean, this is something very simple, but it brought a whole community together. That wasn't speaking, that wasn't talking, wasn't bringing everybody to it. Now everybody's communicating behind some grass seeds. Some grass seeds.
Wonderful, man.
It was something very simple, but what I noticed with it was, it grabbed the attention of the young folks. Because they're looking at me like, you put grass seeds in my dirt, and we got grass now. And our house is looking better now. And then what I did was, this summer, I painted my house by myself. And those young folks were looking at me again. They kept looking to see, where's his help at? They didn't see no help. Then they would come up and say, you painted the house by yourself. I said, it's my house. But this is what you got to do to these young folks. You got to show them. A lot of times when you speak to them, they don't hear you. But they can see very well. They can see very well. And so all this talking over their head, all that, we just got to show them. And you can just show a young person, but step back and just look what I'm doing. And I did this for years, working with Bill Gator, with the IB all back in the days. That was me. And, you know, and young folks now, it's a change because, like I said, all the way they get information now is instant. When I was coming up, it took us time to get this information. They getting just like that. It took us days. They getting it instantly. So we dealing with a different mindset of young folk. And a different mindset, they got to see it from us. And right now, the most things they see is a lot of negativity. From where? Not only TVs now, they can see it right there on their telephone. Negativity every day on their phone. People fighting, arguing, beefing. Television, the news, beefing, arguing, killing, murder, destruction. In their head every day. So how do we fulfill that? You got to love them. You got to love them a little harder than you used to. Because you're working through a stronger mountain to get through now. So you got to work a little harder to love these young folks. Because the young folks is the ones going to take over when we go. So we got to set up something. We got to set up something for them to learn how to live. Because if we don't show them, then we leave nothing for them. And so I say to any young person, you know what I'm saying? Respect your parents. Respect them. Especially when you got a parent that's doing something for you that's real. Because we know every young person does not have the opportunity and the willing of a parent to give to them. We got a lot of parents in prison. And you don't hear this being talked about enough. You got a lot of parents in prison that's never coming home. That's doing 15, 20 years. Who's raising a child? The streets. Met a young man a couple months ago, his mama in jail, and his daddy been in jail for 20 years. I'm like, well, who you live with? My grandma. Grandma?
Thank God for grandmother.
Thank God for grandma, but grandma don't have the wear of to deal with these young folks today. She's living in a whole nother world. She's living in the 60s and 70s. He's living in the 2000s. That's a clash. But if we don't show these young folks love today, where they gonna get it from? They gonna get it from the block? They gonna get it from Jew, from Big Papa. They gonna get it from somewhere if we don't give it to them. They gonna get it. And you look at what's going on in our communities now. Everybody trying to blame everything on the young folk. But I tell people like this: those young folks is getting their information from somebody much older than them. The unseen person giving them the rules, giving them the so-called, this is how you're supposed to do it. This is how we can get this money. See, because you feed on what's missing. And we have a poverty situation going on where folks don't have money. So you got somebody coming in that knows this, and they feed them with all this negativity. But it's our job to love. Period.
Is that the same Mark that had a stroke? Was he had a stroke, Brother Mark?
I had a stroke, man.
Yeah, he back all the way back now, ain't he? He all the way back. Let's give a big round of applause for Brother Mark Fuller. He's all the way back. Another elder in our community. We're going to start to wrap it up. Brother Solomon. Brother Solomon, let's give a big hand for Brother Solomon and Myree. If you don't know, if somebody talked about taking our kids fishing, taking our kids hunting, if there's one elder who won't let us forget that we got to take our kids camping, fishing, hunting, and he won't let it go. So let's give a big hand for Brother Solomon and some people that's connected.
Been knowing him all my life.
Brother Sam, it was in our atmosphere. Our people brought it from where we bring our knowledge from. Our people brought the fact that we should ask permission to our elders. And it came to Brother Sam. Sam took it from our people and brought it to the masters. So I take this opportunity to ask my elders for permission to speak 2 minutes at the most.
2 minutes now.
I just appreciate the fact we bring our children. We got our beautiful children. There's nothing else we have but our children. We don't have all them degrees don't mean nothing. All them housing jobs, it don't mean nothing. And we have to, so I appreciate Brother Mark's comments about our children. And we have to think about how we bring our children, have our children involved with learning what we're learning now. Another part of this elder, instead of having him here, and so we should be thinking how we can make this better for our children instead of sitting here. They'll be here for a while and doing something else for our children. We got to learn to make it visually. We got to think of the vision make our vision speak to the elders and also speak to the children at the same time. Last thing I want to say is that I'm glad to see. Well, let me say this first. Two things that last is that Carol Horn. I know somebody spoke on it. I know everywhere we got to take it another level. Only thing we want to do is we want to meet up at the City Hall with Mr. Brown and have Mr. Brown let us know, elders. We want to know what do we do, how we going to get Carol, how we get our daughter, Carol Horn, get her pension. And Mr. Brown, and whoever else can say yes,
or he can say no. But it's still gonna be, if we say yes, that's good. If we say no, we have to know what, well, we can't let it be out like that.
That's right.
Our best daughter, she was let go with 5 children. She was a single mother.
Oh, my God.
And she was given,
Fight that,
they didn't take no. So when I'm saying fight with us, so we gotta let Mr. Brown, and we're not talking against Mr. Brown, but we're gonna talk to our political representatives. Mr. Brown, it came through him. He could have said yes, he could have said no, he said, anyway, I'm not talking against Mr. Brown. But we're talking for our sister, for our young mother who needs 3 months for her to get a pension. So anyway, so next thing I want to, Gigi's. Gigi's restaurant is our best business in this city. It's the only thing left. Of all those things all of us talked about, Gigi's the only thing left from that era. It's been down for all this time. Nobody's came together and said how we're going to get this business back on to hire our young women who've been working there 15, 20 years. Everything they got downtown came from taxpayer money. All those buildings, all those programs, all those office buildings, all they got, everything they got came through taxpayers' money. Gigi's it should have been the next day, we should have been thinking how we're going to make it. It's an iconic place. Everybody comes into town. So anyway, I said she owns it. And another thing I wanted, the two best politicians in this city, Mr. Eve was our first, and Brother Fisher, I don't care what no, I know we got different, but Brother Fisher, I've seen them all. I've seen them all. But Brother Fisher, overall, he's the second best politician this community has ever produced from ourselves. So we thank him. So anyway, thanks, man.
And give a big round of applause for Fisher to work with you.
All right. Buzz Solomon. All right, and we'll begin to wrap up. We got one of our speakers who was scheduled to speak who just came in, so let's give him an opportunity. Brother Richard Cummings, let's give the president of Black Chamber of Commerce big hands for Brother Cummings.
How's everybody?
Good, sir.
I got a little late start today. But I'm happy to be here. I feel good seeing all of the positive faces out here. And then I see Mr. Eve, I call him. I'm from the old school. To see Mr. Eve here is a pleasure in sight. I haven't seen you for a long time, and I'm so happy to see you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, and I sure miss you. There has not really been a campaign in this city since the Assemblyman Arthur Eve got out of politics. I'm looking forward to someone who says that they want to do some positive things for the city. I want to see them have conversation with Mr. Eve and find out what magic that he put together. And I don't think it was magic. I think it was just a formula. And I think they need to talk to him, find out what is that formula, and use it, and move on and to do some positive things for the city.
Love people.
Love.
Love. That's it. Love. Love.
One of our brothers who have moved on, he said peace and love. Love is a key. And if we can just share the love, we can do support. And if we support, we can be in there and make some positive things happen in the city. I don't have a lot to say, and I'm sure that before me everyone has, and I see one of my heroes over there on the side. I see some famous faces here. Good to see you. The thing that
I really want to get across, I see the young people, and I'd like to just say to the young people, one of the words of wisdom that came to me from one of my elders, who wasn't really my elder, he said, pay attention. And a lot of things are being said that you have an opportunity to hear, but you really have to hear them, you have to pay attention. Because if you pay attention, you can change the way that things are done in this city and in this country. And we need a change, but we need a positive change, not in just any direction. We need to go in the right direction where our best energies are used and our young talent is really blossomed and given examples of how to survive in a very positive world. Pay attention is what I'd like to leave with you, and pay attention to what, I know it's difficult to listen when you're very bright. In fact, when you're, when you know it all, it's kind of hard to listen. But you have to be humble. Be humble and listen. And if it's not of value, just stash it to the side. As you get older, some things become of value that you don't really realize were of value. So as you progress through life, you'll hear some things. Don't just discard them. One of the things that is nice about our community is that our community is truly about love, about passing on the information that we have that we think is going to be helpful for you in the future. So we pass on that information. We don't do enough of it. And one of the things that we in the Black Chamber of Commerce believe is that we have to really get into passing on information. For example, we had an opportunity to work with a group of fine folks in terms of supporting black business. Supporting black business is one of the keys in terms of our success. We think about we need this and we need that. We have it all. If we just use it properly and use it with each other, especially with our black businesses, if we support our black businesses, we'll see a whole new dimension come up. Mr. Eve has said that for 1,000 years. Well, it seems like 1,000 years. But it's true. And if we just start doing that, start supporting each other, supporting our businesses, we'll find it will grow. And opportunities will become tremendous. Jobs, earning money, having someplace to go where you can even spend your money and get respect from those who you're spending your money with. Those are important things. And thank you.
Give another hand for Brother Richard Cummings, Black Chamber of Commerce. And so as we move to wrap it up, they say the two biggest tests of leadership is one, did you lead your community better than you found it? You know what I'm saying? So can you make enough of a difference that it looked better after you leave than did before you got there? And then also that you replace yourself. Did you work in a way that people after you it can continue on after you? So I'm going to wrap up my involvement here, and I'm going to transfer it over to my son, hoping that he can do better than I did. You know what I'm saying? And that also duplicate myself, right? I want to announce that Brother Chris and Brother Khalil's in the back. Any elder in the room who wants to get on the record sharing anything that you want to share. They're doing videotaping in the room so we can capture the words of our elders. So we did our convening, but if you want to, you can go in the back, you can capture the words. And so our last two speakers, Brother Aineo, is going to come bring forth. So let's give a big hand for Brother Aineo.
One of our last speakers is Ronald Cunningham. He's from Niagara Falls. He's a community activist, and he's a truancy officer. He would like to come up and share a few words. So please, round of applause for Ronald Cunningham.
My elders may have permission to speak. Permission to speak.
truly been a great evening. And it's been great because people don't sit this long anywhere to get that kind of information we can get it. So I'm glad to be here this evening. What I'd like to do is have everybody stand up and give the sponsor of this great event a hand. Stand up, give the sponsor of this event a great hand. Stand up. Tremendous job. And as usual, Sam, you're on point. And you always bring us news we can use.
Yes, sir.
And it's always like to see you. I'm down in the Congressional Black Caucus in D.C. Art Eve's down there working. Albany's working. You know what? You give me inspiration. Yes. Stand on the table giving out flyers. This man is something else. We have a national treasure with Art Eve. Let's give him a round of applause. A national treasure. I just hope I live long enough to have the wisdom and the beauty you have at 98 years old. Or you are, you're 99. Well, good. I'm sure you'll be around later. Okay. So I'd like to think I'm glad to be here. One of the things I do learn, probably the two most difficult problems you find in the city of Niagara Falls and Buffalo. Niagara Falls, in case you didn't know, is known as the king of power, queen of beauty, and the honeymoon capital of the world. That's how capital is at. And we're also here from the Empire State. I just want to say one thing. It's been a great evening. I read this in the Criterion. I said I had to be here. And it's worth being here. And we should respect our elders. And I think this was a great concept, Sam. And yeah, Brother Bill. But Sam, you know, I know you from a lot of places. I just want to say, Brother Bill, it's a great concept. And guarantee this, Sam, I will be down in Niagara Falls, and I'm going to replicate this. Brother, I'm going to see you before I leave. Brother Bill, we're going to do this in Niagara Falls, okay? The same thing you've done here, we need to do in Niagara Falls. That will be happening. So thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure and a very motivational, inspirational evening, this evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Have a great day.
Thank you. And last but not least, he in the back of the room near the door. I hope you're not trying to leave on me. Brother Davidi does a lot in this community. He's a minister at the mosque. He was the originator where the idea came from for a black business trust fund. So, round of applause, Brother Davidi, please.
I want to thank everybody, all the organizers of this event. I feel a little bit uncomfortable right now because whenever you have 1,000 years of wisdom gathered in one room, my first job is to sit down and listen. My first job is not to stand up and say anything whenever there's 1,000 years of wisdom in one room. And so Stevie Wonder had an album called Talking Book. These people are walking, talking encyclopedias. These are not talking books. These are the griots of our community. So, you know, out of respect for them, I can't talk long. I can't be long, but I gotta be strong. Because I gotta be strong because the great Arthur O. Eve was strong when he was advocating for those brothers at Attica Correctional Facility to get some freedom, justice, and equality. The great Arthur Eve, he was strong. I gotta be strong because the great Charlie Fisher was strong when he laid down in front of those garbage trucks. It's not all of us that's gonna lay down in front of a garbage truck. Them big garbage trucks with the big wheels on them, and so I gotta be strong because the great Barbara Sims was strong in the courtroom as a judge, as an advocate for our people for justice, so I gotta be strong. And so, but you know, these are walking, talking encyclopedias of history. The elders, the convening of the elders, the great repositories of the history and experience of our people. But we gotta find a way to bridge the gap between the elders and the youth. I consider myself to be a youth. I'm still a young person. I'm still a part of the Joshua generation. But the Joshua generation is the greatest generation that we ever produced in terms of potential. They're the greatest generation we ever produced in North America because they are the fulfillment of the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all the prayers that went before that we would see a better day. All of the prayers of Grandma and Big Ma and all the prayers and hopes and dreams that we might have a better day has all been deposited in the young people today. They are a generation of promise, but they're not here today to be wedded with all of this experience. they're the greatest generation, but they're not the wisest generation. So you have to marry strength and energy and all that zeal. You have to marry that with wisdom and guidance. And so I'm here representing the younger generation. We got Jay over here. Raise your hand, Jay. He's from Glenwood Avenue, representing the younger generation. We got Shango over here. Shango representing the RBGs of the younger generation. We got a brother in the back. They call him Bam, B-A-M-M. He represents the younger generation. So we always got to be here to marry the youth and the energy with all the elders that we have in the room. So we're so grateful for all of this, the sacrifice, all the work that went in, all of the price that was paid for us to even be here today. And so that's what I got to do. I want to end on that note, just being honored to even simply say something, to be in this room. And we're going to make a pledge today. Myself and Jay and Bam in the back and Shango and all the ones that's young. Hakeem is in the back with his little brothers. My wife over here. We're going to make a pledge today that we pledge to carry on the great work of the great Arthur Eve and the great Barbara Sims and the great Charlie Fixer and all the elders that, and Brother Solomon Myrie and the work that he has done. We're going to carry that work on. So we thank you once again. We want to say thank you and have a good night. And we're going to end on that note. And I'll bring back brother back to the podium.
Thank you, Brother David. Can we all just stand up and give everybody who spoke today a round of applause? So before we wrap up, a couple of announcements. Kwanzaa's coming up December 26th. So be ready for that. Also on December 26th at 12 o'clock, down at City Hall, we'll be raising the Liberation flag right in front of City Hall, so please come to that. Also, please, Brother Shango, on Mondays, please go to the African.
What time for City Hall?
12.
26.
December 26th at 12. Brother Shango, you want to come up and say something about the Average Constant Workshop on Monday?
Sure.
OTAP? Permission from my elder to continue? Yes. Now that I got permission. Oh yes, the African Conscious Workshop is a platform designed for us to Sankofa. Now I'm assuming all of us know what Sankofa is, right? We know what Sankofa is, right? That's right, to go back and fetch. Go back and get our story. So every Monday we treat it like church. Every Monday we go and meet up at the library and try to Sankofa something that's been hidden from us. So the family, especially melanated families, definitely welcome out to come out and try to get a piece of something that has been lost. The workshop been going since 1990. It's been going for a long time. And before I facilitated the workshop, my big brother Sam did. So you can imagine the shoes I'm standing in right now. This is why I need cooperation when it comes to the workshop. So that way we can guarantee the existence of the workshop for the next 20 years and the next 20 years after that. So thank you for allowing me to promote the workshop. I'll see y'all there. Hotel.
All right, we're going to call Brother Bill back to end with some closing remarks. Brother Bill.
Close with prayer. Close with prayer.
Yes, very good idea. As usual, very good.
Close with prayer.
Brother Bill.
Close with prayer.
Well, I was going to say a few words.
Go ahead.
May I have permission to speak?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. This has truly been an inspiring evening, afternoon. We do have, this is our last event of the year. The Umoja puts on 4 events, plus there's 2 awards that we give for outstanding students, so it's a total of 6 happenings throughout the year. This inspires me to try to do more. I remember Cliff Bell at one of his, I think it was his last big celebration, he said he wished he could have done more. Everybody can do more, but one thing about it is we all get inspiration, but we don't act on it. I have been blessed to have the ability that when I get an inspiration, when I get an idea, inspiration, it comes from the Creator, and I may not act on it, but if it doesn't go away, it just gets stronger and stronger, and sooner or later I do act on it. So everybody has got to, they have to do what they have to do. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Sister Hill on her longevity. The reality is, most of us in this room aren't going to make 98. So if you have a chance, talk to her, touch her, and congratulate her, because that's quite an accomplishment.
Amen.
I'd also like to thank R.D. for his courage, because the first time he really got my attention, he was yelling at some racist member of the assembly. And to me, that was a sign of strength coming from a black man, because we all have been, you know, insulted. And of course, his work during the Attica uprising was outstanding. He really put us all right there. I had to give acknowledgement to Carol Horn. Carol Horn, she exemplified everything that I could have won for in a police officer. When I first experienced my first black police officer, I was relieved, because I said, well, here's somebody that looks like me, is going to look up for me. Carol didn't have no meaning. She looked at that racist cop with his hands around the throat of a handcuffed black man who had no business being handcuffed anyway, and she said, Greg, you're killing him, and she went into action. This was instinct. All of us, our instincts have been dulled somewhat, and we have to sharpen them, because they've been dulled by the things that we've been trained to do, and the things we've been trained to do by our enemies are not the right things. We have to rethink. We've been bamboozled, like Malcolm said. So we have to approach this life with a new mind. You know, I have one of my sons. He was awarded second place, Jesse Ketchum. I like to talk about this. That's the whole area, the whole Erie County, second place. Am I supposed to tell him what he can't do? He's got that much intelligence and strength. So we have to keep forward this. You know, the sky isn't even the limit. You know, there is no limit. The limit is what we put on ourselves. And when we do that, we do ourselves a disservice. Well, he's gone. But he was here earlier. So I'd like to, like I said, you know, this has been a truly inspiring evening. Don't forget to support Kwanzaa, and we look forward to seeing you all at Kwanzaa and then next year. So we're looking forward to a prosperous 2017. Thank you very much. I'd like to close the prayer with Brother David.
We're closing now, brothers, and we've been very patient. We're closing with prayer. Can we please stand and out of prayer? Closing right now with prayer. Attention prayer. Please clear your minds, prepare yourself for prayer. Glory and honor to thee, O Allah, and thine is the praise. Blessed is your name, and exalted is your majesty, and there's none to be served beside you. We seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief, from laziness and lack of strength, from cowardice and niggardliness, and from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. Suffice us with that which is lawful, to keep us away from that which is prohibited, and with your grace make us free from want of what is beside you. Grant to us what you have promised by your messengers, and disgrace us not on the day of resurrection. Surely you never fail in performing your promise. And grant to us good in this world and the hereafter, and save us from the chastisement of the burning flame. We thank you for this auspicious gathering. We thank you for the wisdom that you have allowed us to receive today. We thank you for all of what you have deposited within our great griots, our great elders, as a guidepost, as a lighthouse, as a guide for us today. And we thank you for whatever experience you allowed us to go through, and for whatever you have allowed us to overcome, because we know that that's how you bring us closer to you. And so we thank you for whatever gifts and pain and suffering and all of the good and the bad, because we know it's all from you. And so we ask that you allow us to return back to our homes and our places of abode and safety, fulfilled and filled with the spirit that you have given us today. And we say this in the name of your servants and worthy apostles, all the way from Abraham to Moses to Jesus to Muhammad, the first and the last. Amen.
Amen.